So this is the meeting of January 13th, 2025. And I'd like to call the meeting to order and do roll call. Commissioner Andrews.
Present.
Commissioner Burgess. Commissioner Manziel.
Present.
Commissioner Perez.
Buenos días.
And Commissioner Trainer. Oh, okay. So we don't have Chip, but we do have Paul. So we have some reappointing to the office of commissioner. So that's Paul. So the city has appointed Mr. Manziel an extension of their appointment by 1 year, expiring October 6th, 2025. So I'm gonna have you recite the oath and then have you say it back. I do solemnly swear, or
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Commissioner.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Commissioner of the Housing Authority of the City of Everett.
There. Okay. I'm ready. Then he's official.
Congratulations.
So at this point, the board will now enter into a closed session.
Agenda amendment,
Is that?
the agenda
Yeah.
amendment,
We're moving to closed session.
yeah, the one that you would start.
Wait a minute.
Yes, thanks. Did she put it before? Sorry.
Right here, right?
Nope, agenda amendment.
Oh, okay. So I can't move my glasses up and down. Apologies. Next, I need to call for a motion to amend the agenda to move the closed session up to take place prior to the executive session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
With a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, going forward, we're moving the closed session up. So at this point, we will enter into the closed session, during which the governing body is planning to adopt the strategy or position that has been taken by the governing body during the course of any collection, bargaining, professional negotiations or grievances or mediation proceedings, or reviewing the proposals made in the negotiations or proceedings while in progress. This portion of the meeting is exempt from Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to RCW 42.30.44B. We're entering into the closed session at 12:10 for 20 minutes.
Yes.
And we will return at 12:30. Now reconvene in public session, and it is 12:28. And no action was taken in the executive session. So now on to the rest of our agenda and items for individual consideration.
Executive session.
Executive session, we're gonna jump into.
Yeah,
What you say?
executive session is next. Then all the,
Yeah,
it's right after.
Oh, so go down.
yeah,
I think it's,
Mine does not do that.
number 7.
I think it's behind, if you flip over.
Right there. Okay. Alrighty. The board will now enter into executive session to review the performance of a public employee, RCW 4230-110-1G, to discuss the legal counsel pending litigation to which the housing authority is a party, and for consideration of site selection or acquisition of real estate by lease or purchase when public knowledge regarding such consideration would cause likelihood of increased price. We will enter into the executive session at 12:31. That's what I have.
Okay.
And return, how long does this take?
Let's say 15 minutes.
15? Okay, so 12:45. The board will now reconvene in public session, and it is 1:45. 12:45, sorry, that's not pretty good matter. No action taken in executive session. And now we're on to the items for individual consideration. The first one we have is resolution number 1604, adopting updates to the housing choice voucher administrative plan. And Anna Todd will introduce as the deputy director of rental assistance.
Hi, Anna. You just joined.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just joining.
Okay, there we go. Yep. Are you ready to present resolution number 1604?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is for the waiting list. So we'd like to bifurcate the HCV and mainstream wait list. HUD issued a PIH notice in August of 2024, waiving the requirement that PHAs maintain one HCV waiting list. So by bifurcating the waiting list, it'll simplify the selection process for future waitlist openings and refilling voucher counts for families that meet the special purpose voucher requirements, which is an adult in the family must be under 62 and disabled. And we anticipate opening the wait list in Q2 and Q3 of this year, subject to additional information regarding HCV program funding.
Any questions? Okay. Well, I will need a motion from the commissioners.
That motion.
Okay, do I have a second to approve?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Hearing none, motion is approved for resolution number 1604. Next, we have resolution number 1605, authorizing agreement to settle pending eminent domain proceedings for acquisition of real property at 12717 4th Avenue West, and approving other actions to effectuate the settlement and acquisition. Director Development Steve Yago, and Director of Asset Management Kristen King will introduce.
So yes, this is the small EHA station for 1.228 acres. We agreed at $4.4 million settlement, which is 3.6 million plus 10%, which is the global evaluation, and is funded with restricted funds. Seeking for authorization to move forward to complete the combination.
Okay, Kristen, are you saying anything to you?
Do you have anything to add to that, Kristen?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that we are also seeking authorization as part of this resolution to use our restricted funds to fund the acquisition. And so we had this project because we anticipate using project-based vouchers at this development. It is eligible for Section 9 and Section 8 funds, which is our MTW funds, and it's also eligible for Section 18 funds. So we're requesting board approval to use those funds. And that way, when we make decisions about using those funds, we have the proper documentation in our files for HUD.
What was the address to this property? I gathered it was South Everett, but what was the address?
717 4th Ave West.
It's right on the corner of 4th and 128th.
Okay.
Any other questions from commissioners? Okay, seeing none, I will need to call for a motion for approval.
Move for approval?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Then we are now approved for resolution 1605. Next, we have resolution 1606, authorizing updates to agency budget to implement an updated salary schedule.
So this is an issue that has been a long time coming for the agency. There's a couple different components to it. So the first component is the compensation study that was done by a company called CBiz that looked at our compensation of all of our employees and where we are in the industry. There was 15 agencies solicited to give input, and we got 14 back, which is pretty incredible. I mean, that's a pretty incredible response. It's probably, I've been involved in a lot of compensation studies in my career. This is the best one I've seen. It did a really good job at kind of looking at where we fit and what the internal equity, what the equities are. And then we looked at the internal equities within the organization and kind of stepped through that. The other piece of this that's really important to this agency is currently there is no salary schedule grid in this agency. There is ranges. And so when someone comes in, there's a salary range for the position they come in, and this is agency-wide, not just the non-representative, but also in the union position. And so they're placed in this range, but there's no automatic, there's not even any merit. There's no way to go from there. You basically get placed in the salary grid, and then you don't move. The only way you move is if you take another position that is a higher level position that would put you back into the same place, or that you get a cost of living increase or some kind of agency-wide increase. So what that does for people when they come to the agency, well, when they're coming into the agency, they look and they usually get placed at the beginning of the salary schedule. They do have an opportunity to negotiate, but they are not told that they have an opportunity to negotiate. So it's kind of as you come into the agency, you really don't understand that you have an ability to negotiate within that salary range. So when you come in, you just stay there. That has caused a lot of problems with retention of employees. It's also been challenging, bringing people in, even if they want to work for EHA, they don't understand why they can't negotiate up higher into the grid or into the salary schedule. What this will do is it actually adopts a salary schedule that has steps. So whether it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or A, B, C, D, every year you would go up into a different step. So internal candidates or internal employees know that they, as they move, they can go up into the next part of the schedule. Now implementing this salary schedule, salary grid, along with a compensation study is costly. So, and I've delayed it on purpose because I needed to wrap my head around the fact, can this agency afford this? Even though I believe that it's really important, if we can't afford it, that's a problem. I'm at a place now that I believe that we can afford it, but it's a cautious, we can afford it. And based on that, the implementation of this becomes equally important. So what I'm proposing is that we implement this, we take the employee where they currently are. We look at where they should be on the salary schedule and we place it in the closest step that gives them some kind of an increase. So we're not going to put anybody backwards because then now you have the steps that you could even be like within $1. We're just going to go the closest that will give an increase and implement it that way. That is not the popular way to implement something like this. People that have been in the agency for a long time, I know, believe that they should be placed in the grid in a different manner. But I could not come to the board and say that that's how we should implement it. Given the cost of that and how that would affect the agency, along with the unknowns that we currently have with the change in administration. We do not know what's gonna happen as the new administration rolls out different regulations. We just don't know. And so my favorite word these days is pivot, because I think that no matter what we do, we just need to be ready to move in a direction that we might not want to move, but we're just gonna need to. So with that, I'm gonna stop and then let any of you ask any questions, because that's pretty complicated. There's two pieces of business, the salary schedule, compensation, the compensation study implementation, then there's also the salary grid implementation. Coincide, but they're different.
Okay. I have a question. So I know that you had one point said that you're looking at cost saves. Do those cost saves come anywhere close to the cost of the implementation of this?
So, Sandy is here and Sandy and Kimberly is on a much needed vacation. Kimberly, I sent her on vacation because she has been working, countless hours. And several of us have got around the table, not just Sandy and Kimberly, but Kelly and Kristen and Cal and a bunch of different people saying, how are we going to do this? Because I'm very cautious when it comes to dollars. So we know there's been a lot of one-time money that's gone out recently in the agency that we won't be having, hopefully we'll not have again. We also know that there's some cost savings in a few things that are going on right now. We have a lot of security issues that are happening down at Baker Heights. As soon as that's demolished, some of it, not all, will go away. And then I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna turn it over to Sandy, who, I tell you, I have grilled these finance folks and how we're going to, I go, I wanna do this, but we need to figure out how we're gonna do this.
Mary, before you go, that demolition, is that on schedule?
It is on schedule, and I think the bids are gonna be open.
They should be going out to bid at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And, so we should be ready to start demo, mid end of first quarter.
Okay, thank you.
So looking at where we are and then kind of like Mary mentioned, since our discussions about peeling away at the onion to see where our layers are. And there are areas that I think that if we had the right people in the right positions and the information financially to them on a regular basis, that control of some of those expenses would occur very rapidly and at a level that I think is very impactful. And based on some of the things that we looked at and we're diving in deeper into some of those expenses as we move along, that what we initially are seeing, the combination of that through the years would cover the majority of the increases, as well as the increases are also covered in some certain percentage of our people that are covered by federal funds currently. Okay. So those will be covered, those positions will be covered by those federal funds. So it's not a full impact to the agency administration.
Okay. Any other questions? I do want to talk a little bit about cost of living increases, because with the implementation of this, I am not, and I'm going to be talking to the employees about this too. I do not know whether we're going to be able to do cost of living increases in July, like we typically do at the budget time. Because of the financial impact of just implementing this very complicated, expensive system for the agency. If we are able to do that, that will be brought back to the board. But I don't want an expectation that we're going to do this and then we're going to do that too. Because I think, our duty is really to make sure that the agency is financially secure and can stand on its own. And I want the board to understand that that's how we're approaching this, because this is a big change for the agency. Any other questions?
I
I
have,
know that oh, go ahead.
actually, it's more of a request. Is it possible that you could show us what things would look like with the cost of living increase and then without financially?
Yeah, if we look at cost of living increase at time of budget time, we can do that.
Okay,
So not knowing what that would be at this point and not being in budget and knowing where we are, it would be a shot in the dark at this point, but at budget time, we definitely would do that.
yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing is there's several positions. If you remember, we put up, when the budget was approved, we had a hold put on positions. I committed to that I wasn't going to, until I was comfortable, I wasn't gonna add a bunch of other positions, and we were gonna put a hold on the positions that were requested to be added. There's been a couple exceptions to that. I have added a couple positions in maintenance, mainly because we were actually paying, overtime. And so it was negative. It was just, it made more sense to do that. And it actually, helped the impact of some of the overtime that we were seeing, on Saturday, Sunday. So we put a position that one position works Saturday, one position works Sunday. I added 2 positions. And so that stops some of the call outs, during the weekend. So that's helpful. The other positions I really have not moved forward on. Some of those positions were requested, there's some positions that are budgeted. Some of the positions that are budgeted are like deputy executive director, the development director, I think it was real estate or something, we haven't filled that position. So there's a couple significant positions that we haven't filled. There is a position that I do want to fill, and that is resident services director. That's a position that we have not had in this agency for a while. We used to have that position. We need to have that position. It is key to the servicing of the clients that we serve. And I believe not having that position is a disservice to not only the clients, but the agency and the community as a whole. I mean, these are the folks that are dealing with trying to get folks that are on public assistance out, and some of the services that are able to be provided through that department is really important. We used to have a Job Corps program. We don't have that any longer because the bandwidth within the department is just not there. The other thing is being able to get some grant opportunities or funding that we just don't have the time. We just don't have the time to either go out and look for them or oversee them. Because every time you get one of those grants, there's paperwork that comes with that, so you have to do that. So you will see that coming relatively quickly. We're working on job description and trying to look at that whole department and the organization and structure within that department. Any other questions? This is a big move for the agency. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the employees. Not only the current employees, but the future employees. Between this and then the PEB, the whole PEB system of insurance, it's a wonderful thing for this agency.
So if there's no further questions from commissioners, I need to get a motion to approve resolution 1606, authorizing updates to the agency budget to implement the updated salary schedule. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any against? So the motion is approved.
One other
The
comment.
resolution is approved.
One other comment, I don't think I pointed this out, this implementation in the resolution is to be effective January 1. So there will be retro pay that we'll be giving to the employees. I don't think we can implement this payroll's kind of ongoing like today. So to ask the HR to kind of implement that, but there'll be retro pay that will be given back. It will become effective January.
Thank you. That was gonna be my next question. Appreciate it.
No. The next meeting is Monday, February 24th at noon, maybe sooner. So I will now look for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Oh,
Madam Chair,
George? Yes, George?
Madam Chair, may I have just a moment, please, to share something with my fellow commissioners and everybody involved? I have decided that March of this year will be my last meeting. I realize that my term is not really over until I believe it's October. But when I was sworn in, it was on March 27th of 1998. And of late, I have just been having some really bad medical issues that have just brought to my attention that I better slow down. And I'm just going to go ahead and take that time to do that. I appreciate all the time that I've been able to serve all you folks and all of our fellow needers, if I may say, in Everett and all around the area. I appreciate that I was able to do that. Being an old projects boy myself, it was quite an honor to do this. So I thank you, and I just ask that you keep doing all the hard work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I might just add, yeah. I might add to that. I'm going to the NARO conference in DC, and I've asked several other commissioners if they have the ability to go. And I know Commissioner Andrews is looking at that. And I have asked Commissioner Perez to attend that.
I will be
With
going.
me, especially since I'm new to NARO, and actually with the other commissioners, because he has been deeply involved in that organization. And to have him kind of help me weed my way through my first NARO conference would be an honor. So,
It'd be my honor to help everybody as much as I can.
Nice.
Okay, well, with that, do I have a motion to call the meeting?
So moved.
Adjourn.
Okay,
sorry,
all
go
those in
ahead.
favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I'm sure no one's against, but gotta say it. We're now adjourned.
Great, thanks, everyone. It's great
Thank
seeing
you.
you all.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.